What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. This is LoneWolf, and in this video, we're going to talk about the careful aim buffs that monstership hunters just got with yesterday's reset, alright? So with that being said, let's get into it.
Our gaze is shifted upwards to the sky.
Welcome, everyone. So let's talk about careful aim, alright? So in the beginning of Shadowlands, careful aim was a very effective talent in conjunction with double tap, alright? Reason being is double tap shot out an extra aim shot at 100% the damage of your initial aim shot. So if your aim shot crit for 10k, then no matter where the second aim shot hit in the target's health, it could be 60%, it could be 50%, that aim shot will also deal 10,000 damage. All right, but they completely gutted that by nerfing careful aim to 20% versus the 50% they usually get. I'll show you right here. In PvP is 20% before yesterday. And after yesterday, they increased it by 15%, making it to a total 35% bonus damage. All right. So yesterday, I spent the entire day doing every type of content with my All Hunter. All right, my Benthier Hunter, which I'm having a lot of fun with, by the way. So with that being said, I did manage to get a feel for it and understand where it's the most useful. All right. So how does careful aim, because this was a PvP buff, not a PvE buff, how does this change affect our playstyle, our day-to-day, our setups, depending on arenas and all that? And I want to say that at the end of the day, the reality is that careful aim has now become a niche talent, right? Before, I would tell you that do not take it, but now it is a niche talent. What that means is there are certain situations that careful aim is going to be of higher value than explosive shot. But generally speaking, explosive shot will work in every content in PvP. So what makes careful aim niche? Well, obviously double tap still does only 50% of the damage of your initial aim shot, so it's not too big. All right. Secondly, aim shot, which is the ability that careful aim is affecting, is mitigated by armor. So if you're playing against a composition, whether it's random battlegrounds, whether it's rated battlegrounds, whether it's 3v3 or 2v2, a double DPS or healer, at the end of the day, if the target has high armor value, so think warriors, death knights, paladins, even shaman, not so much hunters, but shaman, mitigate a lot of your damage. Okay, if you're facing one of those targets, then it's best not to use careful aim, because explosive shot, just, you don't have to worry about the mitigation. It does full damage on any target that doesn't have, like, you know, absorption shield or whatever it is that mitigates magical damage. Another thing that affects careful aim window is the effectiveness of how often you are able to use it. All right, so if you go a default build as so, then you will probably not get as many windows because you won't have access to fast aim shots. But in turn, if you go careful aim, true shot mastery, and maybe even the legendary Call of the Wild, you will, which is, I'll show you right now. Call of the Wild, it reduces your true shot by 35%, making it to 1.3 minutes. this right here, if you use True Shot Mastery, it makes your True Shot into a 1.1 minute. I don't have the legendary on, so it's 1.7. But if you have True Shot Mastery and calling the shots, and Call of the Wild, then your True Shot is on 1.1 minute cooldown, and with calling the shots, you'll have it in 50 seconds, 45 seconds, depending on the usage of your arcane shots. If you go with that type of build, then your aim shots will be much more valuable. You will cast more aim shots. You will have a chance to hit a target above 70% health more often. Okay, so that's also something that's very important to be aware of. Another thing that affects careful aim is the covenant that you're using. All right. If you're Kyrian, you will benefit much more from careful aim because your resonating arrow gives you mastery, and it increases your critical strike rating when a target is within that resonating arrow. So your careful aim windows are going to be much more impactful, much more valuable. Not as impactful as it used to be, but enough to put a huge dent on a target, especially if you use trinkets and ratios of that nature. The other covenant that's almost, if not better than Kyrian in my opinion with a careful aim talent, is the Nightfall using Karain. Because Karain, she does more damage on a target above 75%, I believe. So you get an extra 10% on top of this 35, making your overall on that one aim shot or double target shot, whatever, 45% increased damage. And one of her last conduits that Karain has increases your critical strike. So it's almost like a pseudo Pelagos without the shooting through walls. Okay? But in essence, Kyrian and the Nightfall, you really get to use careful aim more than if you were Venthyr and Necrolord. If you and your partner are playing double DPS, it is more of value to inflict damage in your globals versus using a global for explosive shot and then waiting 3 seconds in order for it to go off. Okay, a lot of the times setups don't go as perfect. So yes, having explosive shot will do good damage if you are handling your CCs and crowd controls amazingly. But you can also, if you're playing double DPS, put much more damage within that time frame of an opener than if you would have used explosive shot and wait for those 3 seconds plus the gold blow. Now that doesn't happen all the time, but being how the meta is, where people just die within an interrupt or whatever may have you, it's way better to get the kill as fast as possible. So if you can careful aim true shot with a Venthyr, for example, if you careful aim, if you flate shot into a true shot and use careful aim, then you will probably get a kill. All right, especially since your kill shots hit pretty decently. Now for the Necrolord is basically a baseline hunter with chakra. All right. So it's on you on how you want to use that. I'm not a fan of Necrolord, so I can't really give pointers or advice or tips with the Necrolord, but considering their conduits and soul binds and their abilities, you just have extra damage coming from those chakrams. So my final thoughts is basically this. There are people who are going to tell you that careful aim is of no use, don't use it. And for the majority of the content that you're going to be doing, it makes the most sense, right? Because you get more damage from explosive shot. There's a lot more warriors out there, a lot more paladins. Death Knights are getting popular. So it makes sense with the meta and how things are working. But that doesn't mean that you can't use it versus a mage rogue. It doesn't mean that you can't use it versus a whole team that's in a battleground that's mostly cloth wearers and leather wearers. All right. There are niche situations, and it is much more closer of a competition to explosive shot. So what I mean by that is if you are able to hit a target just damage wise, not necessarily in like practically speaking, but damage only. If you hit somebody above 70% health, you will automatically do more damage than one explosive shot. Okay? Now, in a playstyle perspective, you will notice that using an explosive shot and waiting for it to deal damage after the 3 seconds is gonna be not as effective as using a careful aim shot and pumping damage in those 4 seconds. All right, there's been many times where I felt that if I would have used careful aim and used true shot from the beginning, that I would have gotten a kill, because I'm pumping out damage through globals and my teammate is also pumping damage through globals. But with that being said, the rotation will be similar, and if you're using resonating arrow, you will notice that explosive shot just gives that surprise extra burst near the end of your own burst, but it just takes more time. It takes time for you to deal the damage that you're gonna do with your double tap rapid fire, with hopefully a lock and load, proccing during that moment. But without it, there is that kind of lag at the end where it's like that person might be saved or that person might not be saved. So now that we talked about what it is that careful aim was, where it works at, what compositions and stuff like that, let's talk about my final thoughts. Okay, my final thoughts is explosive shot is still going to be the default in the vast majority of your PvP games. But if you play it smart, if you understand if you're aware of everything that's going on and know what you're doing, your teammate knows what you're doing, you will have success with careful aim. Okay? There will be people saying that careful aim is still not valuable or whatever, and in the current meta that makes sense because everything is plate wearers or with high armor. But that doesn't mean that you can't use it against a mage rogue comp. Any comp that is very low armor and they are squishy, you will notice that having careful aim and utilizing it, making sure that your partner doesn't do enough damage to make the target go below 70% before you cast your aim shot, that target's health will go down much faster with careful aim than with explosive shot. All right, but what I mean by that is, I think I was talking about it just a little earlier. You use your global for explosive shot, that's 1.5, which is increased by haste, or which is lowered by haste, and then the 3 seconds that it takes for it to go off. All right, now while you can do that, imagine you're about to CC a healer with no trinket with your trap. Your target just stuns, so you trap, stun, and the target is stunned. True shot into your aim shots. Okay, that opener will get your target to lower health much faster than explosive shot. Okay, what's great about explosive shot though is that that last moment before the target actually dies, there's this moment where like, damn, my kill shot is not killing, my teammate is not killing them. Boom, huge explosion. The person is dead. That surprise is what's good. But the higher you climb, the harder that is. Careful aim might be worthwhile where you true shot into an aim shot, into a double tap rapid fire, and then you kill shot. Versus explosive shot, and having that double tap rapid fire, and then hopefully you get a lock and load proc, and then you might be able to finish it off with a kill shot. Most of the time, it's not gonna happen. With that explosive shot, the person is dead. So yeah, it's all on your playstyle, what you like, who you're facing, what covenant you're using, and that's pretty much it. I will have a lot of fun with careful aim. I'm with my Venthyr. It's pretty chill. Let me show you guys. All right, guys. So here, I want to show you guys an example of how I would use careful aim in a 2v2 situation. All right. So these two targets, this one and this one, are low armor. This is the kill target, and this is the target that we have to CC. All right. So if I'm using a rogue with me, then I can just wait until he saps, and I can just cast aim shot, and not worry about using my cooldowns in that very moment. Is basically getting the aim shot off, seeing what we can pop off, blah blah blah. But if we want to go for a kill from the beginning, or when the off target doesn't have a trinket, then what I would do is I would double tap in stealth, right? I would double tap. I would door shadows, and as I door shadows, blade shot, right? Immediately go into a double tap aim shot, and just keep going. Keep going. Go hard as a mother. All right, that right there will do substantial damage. You can use your double tap for rapid fire versus using it on the double tap aim shot. Okay, so what that would look like would be the same deal, but instead of using double tap in stealth or double tap before you start your burst, you hold double tap, blade shot, true shot into aim shot, double tap into a rapid fire, and then you just keep pumping. Okay? You would want to go that way where you double tap first if you're using the legendary that increases the damage of your rapid fire. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe, because why not? And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.